Welcome to On Point International Turf Racing Edition. James, we're 5 weeks out from the International Festival of Racing at Arlington Park. They have their local preps for the Million and the good races on that card. But center court this week, to use a Wimbledon analogy, definitely Belmont Park, Belmont Derby, Belmont Oaks. Great racing coast to coast, but really interesting racing at Belmont.
Yeah, absolutely. 6 graded stakes there, and the Dwyer for 3-year-olds has been a pretty good race. Has an economic model, who's an exciting prospect for the later this summer as well, this fall. And like you mentioned, the Belmont Derby, Belmont Oaks, both races have full fields, good local horses or domestic horses, as well as international raters.
Yep, and then in between that, as part of the pick 4 with those turf races, the Suburban. Has some interesting horses in it, and then closing out, it's the Belmont Sprint Championship. I don't really know where that came from, what race that used to be, but it's on the end of the card, and we see the return of Private Zone. I did focus on the 2 turf races for this purpose, the 3-year-olds. To me, as it is with any of these big races, it's how much do you lean on the internationals. In the Oaks, I'm all in on Ballydoyle.
Yeah,
on the Derby, I'm willing to spread. And in fact, I actually prefer the locals.
Absolutely. Chad Brown has 3 horses in the Belmont Derby, no surprise. And I'm looking at that call provision as a little bit of upset contender. You know, he's making his 3rd start, comes off a good 3rd in that Pennine Ridge, and appears to have a nice upside. But, you know, he's going to be, all 3 of his horses have a big chance in there. And like you said, Ballydoyle, I mean, she's beat Minding once in a Group 1 and run 2nd to her twice. I mean, she's arguably the 2nd best European 3-year-old filly, and she looks tough as nails in there. Of course, Catch a Glimpse, who's unquestionably the top 3-year-old turf filly, is in there as well. So that's a really exciting race. I think it has more star appeal, but both races, should be dynamite to watch.
Yeah, and with the fillies, an interesting storyline. As much as I'm in Ballydoyle's corner from a win perspective, so to speak, to me, Catch a Glimpse, given how deep that field is and how good it is with the O'Brien shipper especially, if she were to win, I mean, all year it's pretty much been, Songbird's the best 3-year-old filly, and that might be the case. We'll see what happens in Saratoga. If she were to win this, though, to me, she's on that level.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, I think both those fillies will both get bet down low, and there'll be a good gap. And if you like somebody like Time in Motion or one of the other 3-year-old fillies, like I said, I mean, there's just plenty of depth in both races. So, it'll be exciting to see what happens there. And you mentioned earlier, I mean, even the Arlington races, they both got some horses, that look like they're prepping for, to make a serious bid in the International Festival. I was glad to see horses like Messi and Go Around both invade for, good barns. So those races should be pretty good as well.
Yeah, they have a prep for the Secretariat. The horse who won the prep for the prep is Surgical Strike, and right. I'm sure everyone waiting for me to mention him. He ships east, though, to the Belmont Derby. Huge vote of confidence. Certainly like that they get an Ortiz brother, Jose, getting the mount on him. Obviously not going away off a win and now getting a much bigger price. I'm not as bullish on him because I think this is a pretty competitive field. In American Turf, I pretty much pushed it in the middle at 15-1, and he ran okay 3rd. Needs a better performance here. We're getting the price for me to take a shot, so I will. But you mentioned that horse on the outside, I think fits. As far as Chad Brown goes, one of those is his. The other one, Beach Patrol, who finished 2nd to stablemate Camelot Kitten. I prefer him at twice the odds as Camelot Kitten, and you get Javier Castellano, so another big jockey upgrade like Surgical Strike is getting to the local jock. To me, it's a really compelling race, and it's one where the internationals always get overbet. None of the 3 here are to Ballydoyle's level, so I don't even know if any will end up being the favorite. But to me, none of them really stick out as, this is the one that's going to, beat us Americans.
Yeah, I mean, O'Brien has 2 of them, and Humphrey Bogart's the other one as well. And all 3 of them really, they're solid group performers, but they haven't distinguished themselves on the level of like a horse like Ballydoyle, obviously, and you know the U.S. contingent in there with Camelot Kitten and Beach Patrol, and there's a couple others as well. I mean, O'Neill has an interesting colt in there. I mean, that's a highly contentious race. I mean, your Surgical Strike 15-1 morning on, so
yeah, maybe runs on. And Rallis is the O'Neill you mentioned, Highland Sky for Barclay Tag. Definitely a lot of looks. So we'll get you out of here on the other two races in the pick four. And to me, I'm in Kieran's corner here. He's a trainer I give a hard time to. Sometimes he's overbet, whatever. He showed up Belmont week, no denying that, cavorting the 3-year-old filly who ran off the screen in the sprint, and Frosted, of course.
Right.
He has Mubtaij in the Suburban, Marking in the Sprint Championship. Neither will be favored. I think both have big chances.
Marking has a big chance at Private Zone for some reason. He's 7 years old. He doesn't show up with his A game. Marking, I think, has that outside draw is perfect. He could really take a good step forward. Was a good second to run happy in the Malibu last December. So I do give him a chance. Mubtaij, I'm sort of looking to play against him. Mm-hmm. I think Jerkins is really well represented. I mean, FNX is a morning line favorite, but I look at that Shaman Ghost. I mean, I really liked his move in the Brooklyn on Belmont Day. I thought that was an excellent turn of foot. He still has to step up and prove it against better horses. He gets the opportunity. 5-1 morning line price could be right, and he's the type of horse I don't mind taking a chance with improving form.
No, I agree. It's 2-3 for me in the Suburban. Shaman Ghost is the other one with Mubtaij. It's a great pick four sequence. I'm sure you and I will be writing about it in various ways on the blog and Twitter, etc. We'll put some links in the description. We'll definitely talk about it next week. Vance is on vacation, so Turf Talk for me and you. And On Point, looking at Del Mar Opens. It should be a good week.
All right, yeah, we'll enjoy it, and good luck, everybody.